Kian, what's up? You're the only one here? Oh, there's 8 people here. What is up, everybody? Uh, Welcome back to another Saturday hangout. Last week was a bit of it was all over the place with topics. So I decided to kind of like try to start off with an actual topic. One that it's kind of on my mind. So I thought I would just go with that. But yeah, I don't know if anyone else is coming in here. People are just dropping out. So I'll give it a few. But how's everybody doing today? What's up, Mindy? Thanks for coming in. Kristen, what is up? Miaxo, is that, I don't know. Lisa, what's up? Brendan, hey, what's up? Nope, just started. You're not late. Anyone who's just joining, we are just getting started. So thanks for being here. What's up, Ross? So yeah, anyways, Greg, what's up? Krista, Eli, whoa, Siri's thinking I want to talk to her. American Scapegoat, letting an ad play. I didn't know there was ads on live streams. That's interesting. Spill the tea. Well, I can't say that I exactly have tea to spill, but I have, some things on my mind that I thought I would start out with. So, as you might have noticed, the title is talking about Candace Owens. And I don't really know where to start with that. I guess I'll just start from the top of what got me onto this topic to begin with. So, yesterday, so here's the thing. I follow on Twitter people from like both sides of the spectrum. That's just how I operate and how I like to get information from both viewpoints, and I like to form my own opinion. So that goes for Twitter, that goes for YouTube, that goes for any form of social media, basically. I don't like to just live in my own bubble of opinion or whatever. So it's funny, I always think of like, I bet people, I wonder if anyone's ever been like, oh, Cody is a bad person because he follows so and so. He must agree with them. If anyone has ever looked at who I follow, that is not the case. Sometimes it's just good to have like a viewpoint from both sides, So I follow Candace Owens. If you do not know who she is, she's a political commentator. I'll just read her bio on Twitter. Oh, it just says she has a book coming out. Let's Google Candace Owens so you get an idea of who she is. Candace Owens. Yo, I need to introduce her. Candace Owens is an American conservative commentator and political activist. She is known for her pro-Trump activism and her criticism of Black Lives Matter and the Democratic Party. She worked for the conservative advocacy group Turning Point USA between 2017 and 2019. So basically, right now. So yes, this is Candace Owens. I follow her on Twitter, and I saw something that she tweeted yesterday. It was kind of a series of tweets. Oh, actually, it was 2 days ago, but I just saw it yesterday. I don't know why. The algorithm is weird. So let's start with tweet number 1. All right. Okay. Tweet number 1 from Candace Owens says, everyone freaked out when I was the first to say I didn't support the Me Too movement. The Brett Kavanaugh happened, and I was right. Feel free to freak out again, but I don't support the trans movement. Leftist writing is on the wall again. This tweet will age well. Going on from there, someone commented on that. Someone commented specifically, oh, being anti-trans to promote the sales for your book, that's not opportunistic at all. And she wrote back, she retweeted this, wrote back, said, you think calling me anti-trans is going to shut me up? LOL. I play leftist Pokemon. I see how many ridiculous names you guys call me. Gotta catch them all. As I continue to tell the truth, anti-trans, literally Hitler, anti-black, yawn, still level 1, get creative. I think that was it. Yeah. If I missed anything, I don't know. So, Candace Owens has basically in every any podcast or anything that I've ever heard her in, she's very made it a point to bring up trans issues in a way of just being opposing to trans. She likes to, um, I don't know, I feel like she isn't very well researched on the topic. She only talks about how people on the left think that they can pick their gender. She likes to say that a lot. Um, yeah, that's like all she really has to say is like they're transitioning their kids. They think that they can pick their gender, just how insane it is and stuff like that. But the thing is, I've also seen on multiple podcasts where she talks about how, I think the Joe Rogan podcast, she says how she wants to be wrong. She likes being able to learn new things or listen that she could be wrong. Um, so to be honest, like it sounds a bit hypocritical. Uh, I just feel like for someone who seems to want to learn, uh, kind of refuses to actually listen. And the thing with this whole thing is, I feel like a lot of the times before opinions, before politics, before anything, I like to find common ground with somebody because that always tends to break down barriers or walls. So, like, even when it comes to Candace Owens, for example, what do we have in common? Fuck, like not a lot. But I see that she's a passionate person. I'm also a passionate person. So I can recognize that the way that she speaks, the like, I can tell she gets very into what she is talking about and she wants to um I don't think she has ill intentions. Um so finding that that's like the common ground that I found. She seems very smart, but I just am frustrated at the fact that she doesn't seem to actually be talking to anyone in the trans community to where she has formed this opinion. I expect more, honestly. For someone who calls himself a thinker, I expect her to actually form her own opinion, not just have the opinion of Ben Shapiro or anyone else in her little bubble. Uh, fuck, like, is it weird that I just want to talk to her? um, she makes her feelings and beliefs known for sure. She definitely does. That is something I would actually admire about her is that she is fearless. um, yeah, like just for any, like I can respect anybody who is passionate, who believes in what they are, um, I guess, promoting or believes in their path and believes in their truth. I can respect um, someone who has gone from like one area of life to another. So, like, being raised Christian, um, basically not knowing anything else, going to a Christian school all the way from like pre K through high school. I just burped. Through high school. Uh, I never want to just know one side ever again. Being so just believing in a religion, believing to the point of I don't question it. I never want to do that again. So this is why I follow like all sides of political whatever. Just I never want to develop that same viewpoint of just like this is how it is. I'm not going to question it. I'm not supposed to question it. You just have to have faith. You just have to believe. Like to me, I will never will never ever not question things. um, let's see. Oh, Tracy, thanks for stopping in real quick. Dave Rubin channel. Yes. Yeah. Dave Rubin. I saw Candace on his show too, along with Blair White. So one thing it comes to her idea of the trans community is like I want to know where she's getting her opinion of the trans community. Um, I mean, I can take a guess, but I just want her to dig a little deeper. And she seems to be someone who really like promotes being an individual and individualism. So I like wish that she would look at trans people as individuals and not just like this insane group. Um, that that's just her idea of who we all are. Uh, yeah, night shift tonight. Nice. Yeah, I like Arlene. I will never understand why people can speak with such confidence on matters that they have not personally been touched by, nor have they researched at all. Yeah, exactly. Um, so that's what I wonder what her obsession with the trans community comes from specifically. Especially, so here's the thing that I get most frustrated about is so she's writing a book. Um, it's called Blackout, and she's going to be talking about race, of course. And she mentions that there's going to be a whole chapter about the trans movement. Um, yeah, so like she says, trans movement thinks it's slick, but it's become the new era of leftist lynchings if anybody dares to question the absurdity of its demands. But I'm never scared to go there. There's an entire chapter in my book about it. It will age well. So she's going to be putting a whole chapter in her book of the trans movement, um, which makes me a bit nervous because from what I've heard her say, she doesn't really know that much, uh, especially to write a whole chapter on it. Part of me is curious, part of me wants to read it, but the other part of me does not want to spend money to read this chapter and just work myself up, right? It came from the left and now conservative, not ever going back to that. I personally found LGBT left to be a cult, not allowing individualism or different ideas, etc. I can understand that. Um, yeah, I think there's a lot of identity politics at play. Um, I think that's what she generally finds so insane. I can't be 100% sure, but she just keeps talking about people picking their gender. Um, if we were absolutely able to pick our gender, I would have not picked to transition. I would have picked to just be female. It would have made my life a lot easier, not having surgeries and hormones and um, generally just not being accepted by a lot of people. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. So this book that she is writing, she has so just for Twitter alone, she has 1.6 million followers. That's a lot of people. And for all of these tweets, specifically the one where she's writing a whole chapter, that one has over 6,000 likes. The next one about trans folks has 23,000 likes. The next one, where'd it go? The first one she tweeted about trans folks is has 56,000 likes, which is a lot. Um, I don't have that type of platform for sure. So it's frustrating and it worries me a little bit, a lot bit. Um, it can cause some damage for sure. YouTube, she has a show on PragerU, and that channel alone has over 2 million subscribers. So that's also, yeah, it's a lot. Um, she does look into opposing sides in detail, however, she is close to transgender debate. Yeah, exactly. And I don't understand why she's so closed off about it. She seems to be able to like take in and digest other information, but not when it comes to trans issues. Let's see. I don't think she will dig deeper into trans people. She wants to focus on the negative, like people like Yaniv. I know that's unfortunate. Ugh, they all want to focus on Yaniv. And the thing also is like activist mommy is kind of like humorous and laughable. Legit, the only people that follow activist mommy only follow her to troll. If you look on activist mommy's Twitter feed, anyone who leaves a comment is a troll. Guilty to be one of those, basically. Um, like she's a joke. Everyone knows it. But when it comes to Candace, it's different. Like she actually she's got a brain. So but that can be more damaging. Let's see. What's up, Calvin? Buck Angel is currently trying to help sift through all of that with the younger crowd, teaching different point of view. He's trying to bring stability to a very unstable group. Yeah, um, I've seen a few of his like live chats. Activist mommy is definitely good for entertainment. Thanks, thanks to her for that, for sure. It's kind of funny because there's like such a drastic difference between Candace and activist mommy, and I feel like activist mommy so badly. Fuck, what's her real name? I don't want to keep saying activist mommy. I think it's like Elizabeth something. Um, she like wants to be like Candace, but she never will be. she's just not. She's just not smart. um, Donna Laval, you like her a lot and also support a President Trump. That's fine. I just the thing that I don't get is why she makes it such a point to be anti-trans without first doing the research. That is my main holdup that I have with Candace. Um, and I don't know who I'm more angry at. If I'm like angry at Candace or angry at wherever she got her opinion of the trans community. Try the media. Yeah, that's true. That is true. But it's funny because she's someone who talks about the media blowing things up so much, but she like still believes it when it comes to the trans community. Um, like, come on now. What's up, Mark? Yeah, like when it comes to topics, like there's still stuff I don't agree with Candace about. Then also, she talks about race a lot, but I mean, that's eh, like that's not an area that I'm going to be speaking on. I'm just like a white boy. Well, technically I'm half Mexican, but no one would ever know. Um, but so like, go for it. Write a book. Like, yeah, sweet. Um, she's not trans. She doesn't. I don't believe she knows any like actual trans people. So why is she dedicating a whole chapter to her book? I have a feeling it might be around children and um, the indoctrination of children when it comes to sexuality and gender in confusing them and all that stuff. Um, Anyone's opinion around these issues, feel free to chime in. Um, Candace Owen is activist mommy's number one fan. I have very highly doubt that. I bet that Candace would probably laugh at activist mommy and just like pat her on the head and be like, nice try. Um, I think activist mommy is probably Candace Owens' number one fan. um, how can people accept that animals are born with two heads or conjoined twins and one born with no womb? That people can't accept that someone can be born into their wrong anatomy. Exactly. Like if I were to sit across from Candace Owens right now, she would not use male pronouns for me. Whatever. I don't believe that people should like go to jail or like be punished for using the wrong pronouns for me. It's their choice to be disrespectful or whatever they want to do. Like that says a lot more about them than it does about me. Like I know who I am. It's fine. I won't die. Uh, but like what was I saying? Oh yeah. So she says that it's insanity, right? Like you can't change your gender, blah 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 blah. But like, there's all like biology. We're all going to talk about science and how it pertains to chromosomes and all that stuff. But there is nothing that proves that trans people do not exist. There's nothing that proves that it is impossible that you could be born into the wrong body. So why are people so quickly to jump into the it's insanity when there's probably more science actually proving that it's a thing than there's like absolutely nothing proving that it's not a thing that I'm aware of. Otherwise, I don't think they would be letting people transition. Um, Mark, let's see. I think a problem is that trans is so ever changing definition wise. Yeah, for sure. Like trans used to just mean like one thing, and now like it is an umbrella term. So I don't even know what to say half the time. Um, a lot of people view trans as predators. This is also true. Um, For instance, okay, so Mark, for instance, I had a client last week who had no understanding that hormones had permanent side effects. Ugh, facepalm so hard. um, Dapper Blues, yeah, that's right. That's true. It's like a blessing and a curse that you can't. Okay, so like on one hand, like I feel like it drives me more crazy that there's no concrete evidence towards um, trans folks. Like there's like no test for it. We can't be like, yes, you are absolutely 100% trans. Um, so the validation factor is not there. Um, I have to validate myself. That's fine. I've been having to do that. It's cool. Um, but it also allows for people to kind of appropriate and take on the identity because there is no way to be like no one's gonna be like, oh yeah, you're not like you can't just tell someone they're not trans. You can't just tell someone how to feel or whatever. So it just gets so messy. Um, can't see an actual God, but they have no problems there. Right? They want us they always say like facts don't care about your feelings. But what facts are there that like Jesus and God and all of the faith-based creation that they believe in, like it's a lot of feelings there because there's not any facts. uh, Mars, I think the problem with this whole concept of identify as sorry, I can't read. Creates a never-ending option of allowing people to identify as whatever. Yes. Okay. So yes. Okay. When it comes to like, I don't identify as trans. I just am. Like, that's a fact. Like, I transitioned. I am trans. I identify as Cody. Um, I don't understand. I feel like I need to like write out, like draw. I need like a diagram. Uh, so like if we were to create like an identity tree, if we did Cody to start, right? Oh, can you see that? Is it backwards? Um, I could have so many like identities. So trans, it's not really an identity, but this is like a very small part of me by default. Um, but I have so many other things I could identify as a trainer and a bodybuilder. Uh, you guys can't see. I need a whiteboard. Uh, son, this is stupid. Brother, uh, chef. I think I ran out of ideas, but you get the point. These are like a million different things that I could put my identity into if I really wanted to. Why do so many people want to put this at the top of their identity tree? Um, so, like, there's people, they're just like, oh, yeah, trans. This is all I am. Like, everything about me is super trans, and that is it. And it's just like, come on. There's more to life than that. Um, I don't I needed a whiteboard for real. That was bad. Um, it shouldn't matter what we are. I don't understand why there have to be so many labels. It just separates us. Why can't we just be human? Yes. Okay. Here's another thing too. Here's what I honestly don't understand. So there is two different things. There's between gender expression and gender identity, right? Also, fuck. Like, why is identity attached to this? Um, there's people who express themselves gender wise differently, like whatever, it's fine. You can be a female who likes to wear men's clothes, you can be a male who likes to wear women's clothes, and it doesn't make you trans. It you know it's a different way of expressing your gender. You're gender non-conforming, but it doesn't mean you're trans. These are outside expressions. These are gender expressions, which technically, yes, gendered clothing is created by society. However, when you're trans, it's not about the clothes, it's about your body. You could stand in front of a mirror butt naked, and if there is a disconnect between you and the reflection that you see in the mirror, that is gender dysphoria. That doesn't have anything to do with the clothes that you're wearing, because you're not wearing any. That has to do with your body. When people create new genders because they like the color blue, because they like wearing the opposite sex clothing, or because they like to play sports, but they're a tomboy. Uh, these things do not make you trans. You don't need to take on another identity. You don't need to take on another label. Like, just be yourself. It's exhausting. I think. Yeah, like just creating a new label for every difference or everything that makes someone an individual is actually enforcing gender roles even more, because it's like, oh, here's this girl over here. She wears men's clothes, where she's non-binary. Uh, you're enforcing the society and gender roles on this person even more by saying like, this definitely can't be a woman. They have to be outside of the binary. Um, yeah. Why do we do that? Like, I just explained the gender unicorn. There's entire Tumblr of people trying to create new genders. Yeah, I know. I think maybe Candace got her information from Tumblr, and this is where she's created her like whole view of the trans community. Your sexuality or style is not a gender. Exactly. This is why cis het people don't take us seriously. Yeah. You like how people can wear different things now, but it does make it harder to pass when wearing a suit is seen as acceptable for women. Yeah. Also, I was thinking, so I was talking with a few friends the other day, and they were talking about how at like a meeting, people would um, announce their pronouns, that sort of thing. And I was thinking, I was like, damn, like I had one scenario where someone asked me my pronouns, and I was like, shit, like it made me feel self-conscious. I was just like, do you not know my pronouns? Like I've had too much surgery. I have gone through too much. Please assume my pronouns. Assume them, please. Yeah, it's such a yeah, I don't know. It's just me. I can't speak for like everyone. I know that like not assuming pronouns for someone who is early on in transition can be helpful. You hate when cis people think they're helping you in announcing their pronouns. I have a feeling that these are the things that Candace is getting so worked up about because it's everywhere now. Um, Society pushes for a label and we're just who we are. Why does anyone else need to have an opinion? Work on yourself and being a good person. We all bleed red and sit squat to poop. Oh man. And if you don't sit when you poop, you're gonna have a mess. um yeah, like there's nothing wrong with being an individual. Like that is a gift, but no need to label yourself. I know that there's like, we're humans, that people want to belong to something. Um, but yeah, belong to yourself. Um, yeah. Yeah, like I in no way, shape, or form think that any of the pronoun stuff is ill intentioned at all. Um, I just think that the pronoun thing is something that other people get super worked up about, and by other people, I mean like people like Candace, just because like she blatantly will not use uh, preferred preferred pronouns. Like I'm pretty sure if I met her, she would not use male pronouns for me. I'm about 100% sure. Yeah, I think it's becoming more and more popular for even, I mean, people outside of the trans community to list their pronouns in their profile. I think it's their way of trying to like to normalize it. I don't really like, I don't know. I don't really care. That's not really a battle I'm looking to fight. I feel like, sure, go for it. um, I don't think it's required. I just, if you want to, go for it if it makes you feel better. Mars. I don't care if she avoids my pronoun. I just think it's petty as fuck. Realistically, especially with trans men, we basically blend with other dudes. Yes, totally. If I ever see her and she uses my right pronoun, I'm gonna be like, "Got you." Totally. I think that. Well, I mean, okay. I don't know if you guys ever saw her, like Mars. Did you see Candace and Blair on the Rubin report? Like, the first thing out of Candace's mouth was that she was announcing that she was not comfortable using the she/her pronoun with Blair, and that just started it off petty as fuck. Like, it's that she wanted to make sure that her audience knew that Blair was biologically male. Well, not quotation marks. Like, we're okay. We can know this. I'm biologically female, like that's a fact. But like she wanted Blair, um, or she wanted her audience to know that it wasn't a cat fight between two women. So she came out and like had to announce that. And it was the pettiest thing that I ever seen. And she was like announcing this so that people would not think it was a petty cat fight. Yeah, I definitely think it's to cater to her audience. It works. It works. Um, there's a whole side on that side that wants to just not have anything to do with the trans community. So the question is, as you know, there is a very loud part of the community, or that's just the one that gets like the media attention. So how do we counteract this? Is there a way? Is it too late? Yeah, definitely same thing with Ben Shapiro. I'm pretty sure if any of them ever came out to be like, yeah, trans people are okay, like it would just, shit would hit the fan. It would not be good for them. So basically, they're just kind of selling out. Like I think this is why they're so closed-minded on the topic. Closed-minded is because it's like they need to keep their mind closed about this in order to cater to their own audience. Do you think it is better for trans women who pass? What do you mean? Oh, like back in the day with Christine Jorgensen and now Sarah McBride. I don't even know who that is. Um, I'll be honest, I watched that the whole thing, and there were several points that I disagree with Blair. Ooh, it's been a while since I watched it. I only remember the beginning because it was so petty. Mars, let's see. By allowing people like me, center right leaning, to speak out and not be called cis bootlickers for it, and by engaging with people despite if we think they're transphobic. Yeah, I think that. I mean, honestly, Blair has, um, I think, done a lot with the like where she sits and like what I mean, calling out Yaniv for one, like that was a big deal. Um, yeah, or just generally Blair talking to anyone on the right, Ben Shapiro, Candace Owens, et cetera, et cetera. Wait, missed something. I missed something. Oh, I missed the conversation. I was confused. I was like, "Wait, are you talking to me or just talking to someone else?" Um, yeah. Um, yeah, because if they are transphobic, they will look like fools. It's being able to have the conversation that go a long way with people that aren't educated or know what trans even is. I think a lot of it too is fear. I feel like a lot of cis people feel like they are walking on eggshells. That is not fun for anybody. I know if I want to learn more about somebody or something, if I feel like I'm walking on eggshells, I'm not going to feel comfortable and I'm not going to learn much. So, yeah, like that part of it, I think also contributes to some of the fear, some of the unknown, some of the ignorance, uh, some of the large opposition because it's just like they want nothing to do with the PC-ness that they feel like they have to abide by. Um, she's the first trans person to be on political platforms, spoke for Hillary Clinton. Oh, nice. Sorry for the mouthful, but obviously, if people only watch Fox News, they will see one type of trans person. That's why it matters for us to be individuals with our own opinions and speak up. This is very true. If you only watch Fox News, you will only know of Jessica Yaniv at this point, possibly also Caitlyn Jenner, which I like to say that I started transition in like 2013 BC, before Caitlyn. People think that like since Caitlyn transitioned that everyone like hopped on the transition train and it like became trendy and a thing. I'm like, I started coming out and transitioning before Caitlyn. Give me a break. Um, Blair basically says that Unive doesn't pass well enough to be in women's spaces. I think Blair has good intentions, but almost lets herself be oppressed and expects other trans people to as well. A little confused. Wait. You think Blair has good intentions, but almost lets herself be oppressed and expects other trans people to as well. Oh, you mean like not going into spaces that are for the gender you're transitioning into, kind of thing? Oh, granted, I think Jessica deserved basically all of it just for being a creep, but you can call out criminal without misgendering them. There's a lot of other stuff to hate. Yeah, for sure. I think there is definitely like a certain aspect of grace or room for people who are in the middle of transition or who do not pass yet. It can be a confusing time for sure. Um, there's always that, mid transition period where you don't know what bathroom to use. You kind of just have to, you gotta kind of guess sometimes, like depending on how you're being read. I didn't use the men's bathroom until I 100% was sure of when I was passing 100%. Until then, I used the women's. Um, I think that's generally like the stance that like Blair takes, but it's harder for trans women. It takes a bit longer depending on the person. What do I think about Republican or conservative trans people or Trump supporting trans people? I don't think that being trans is a political statement, so they can do whatever they want. Like I kind of like I drew on my tree. Um, yeah, it's only like a small part of your life. You can still be an individual. Um, so anyone who's a conservative and trans, like they're people, they're individuals. With Unive, it wasn't just that they looked it's, uh, it's hard because, like, it's kind of like a low blow to, like, go after how someone looks, but Yaniv was, like, almost trying to look ridiculous. I feel like it was almost like this joke, especially with the wig that she showed up on, with the debate with Blair, like, I don't think she's worn that since. She has hair, so I don't know what that was about. Um, Blair White pointed out that Jonathan Yaniv is not trans. I, I mean, like, it's still not up to her to decide. As you know, I have to figure out, like, no one really knows. Like, is Jessica shitty and trans, or is she just shitty? Um, you know, there's shitty trans people out there, but just because they're shitty, it doesn't mean that we can't that we're gonna take their trans card away, you know? So it's a fine line. Only one person knows if Yaniv is trans, and that's yeah, exactly. Like, if I were to say that Yaniv wasn't trans, and then like basically, I would love to just avoid pronouns with Yaniv altogether. Um, but me saying she's not trans and then using like male pronouns, like that's just saying that anyone could do the same thing to me. To be real, like if I make a mistake, uh, that gives permission to someone else to just nail me with female pronouns because I'm an asshole or something, you know. Um, but yeah, no one can say whether she's trans or not. They're trans or not. The Mania of Taz. See you later. Thanks for hopping in for a bit. Fear is huge, and to pass judgment on someone else is because you are judgmental of self and fall short. Have a great night. This is true. Heartbeats vanity. Hello. Do I mind if someone uses they pronouns for me? I don't prefer them. I would rather male pronouns. Like, I've worked too hard for those male pronouns. I would prefer them. I'll take they if they can't do male pronouns. Like, they just can't get it to come out of their mouth. But yeah, Calvin, it would irritate me if someone used they pronouns for me. Yeah. I had a doctor ask me my pronouns. He had good intentions, so I just was I like for a second I was just like, "Yeah, wait, you don't know what are you just being PC or do I not look male?" It just mind fucked me for a second. So then that's the moment that I was like, I don't like that. Do not ask me my pronouns. Thoughts on negative outlook on masculine trans men? Does that bother you? Yeah. um, I've had feelings of like guilt or shame for working out, um, preferring to, you know, have muscle because any or like posting things on social media where you're flexing or um, it's kind of seen as negative that you're promoting that in order to be a man you have to look this way and it's just like I never said that. um, I think that it, yeah, it's just like sometimes you just get fed up with everything you do is toxic in some way. It's said that it's almost frowned upon if you're a masculine trans man. That's true. Stop being a toxic masculine man. Yes, in 2020, I will announce that I am no longer going to work out because it's too toxic. Um, Being a man is too toxic, so I'm actually going to stop taking testosterone altogether. Let's see. Brendan, they do that with Owen. Candace calls that toxic feminist. What is what does she call toxic feminist? Cis women love to infantize us sometimes. Ooh, let's talk about that. Okay, so I've definitely been coddled by someone in particular for being trans. It made me feel like shit. um, I think uh, there's some people that like that. I don't know, but I do not want people to coddle me or give me some sort of like special treatment. Uh, I do not want the oppression points. Being a masculine butch lesbians can be toxic. That's true. There can be, you know, butch lesbians who are very like butch. Yeah, anyone can be toxic to an extent. Mark turfs, yes. Oh man, don't even get me started on turfs. Which it's crazy because like turfs are anti-trans, so like they like kind of intersect with conservatives on that point, but they're also mostly gay. So are you asking what turfs are? Um, yeah, I know that not all conservatives are anti-trans, just like the commentators. So like Candace and Ben Shapiro, to be specific. Jamie, hello. Thanks for joining in. Um, Wait, I need to. So TERF means trans exclusionary radical feminist. So that group of feminists that claims that trans women aren't really women, as biological determinism is only a fallacy when used against them, not when they use it against others. Um, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I've seen about. So TERFs basically claim that FTMs or like trans folks, it's like the erasure of lesbians because there's a lot of lesbians that turn out to be trans. Um, so that is another big reason they are against it. They're like, oh, you're killing our butches, that sort of thing. What do I think of biomen in women's sports? Oh, that is a good question. So this is an aspect that we need to be sane and realistic about. So, obviously, when it comes to trans men in sports, like people are like, please try, go for it. um, yeah, we went through a different puberty. So, well, unless like you transitioned real young, but once you go through that like initial male puberty, like testosterone is strong. It's a fucking strong hormone. So when you go through that male puberty, it's almost like you're already going to be at some slight advantage. However, it's not to say that there aren't women with higher testosterone levels or there aren't women who um, have the same sort of like bone structure as some trans women. I think that there needs to be a realistic time frame of how long they need to have been on hormones or what age they transitioned. There needs to be some sort of line because it's like if someone transitioned 2 years ago and decided that they want to get into Olympic lifting, that's obviously going to be unfair. A biological female who goes through male puberty does have a large advantage. I'm confused. Do you mean a biological male who goes through male puberty does have a large advantage? Um, People think a weekly dose of tea is doping, and it's just not. Yeah, it's funny because so testosterone cypionate, however you say it, is actually a very common steroid that is used by bodybuilders. However, they use it in something we call excess. This is something to remember. We use it as our base hormone level. It is prescribed, and we get our levels checked. Hopefully, if you do not, you should. Um, so, with our levels being monitored, with a specific dose being given, we are not using it in a way that a bodybuilder would. We are not cycling the steroid. We are not like our testosterone levels are not off off the charts high. It's very different. So, are we technically taking a steroid? Yes, um, but it's not in the same sense. It's not to build muscle. It's to live. Um, can you build muscle easier on tea? Of course, it's testosterone. It plays a huge role in muscle building. Um, but I'm not going to be able to build muscle any quicker than a cis man my age with the same testosterone level naturally. So it's not the specific tea that we're taking that makes us like it's just it's all about the levels and how it's used. Again, this is negatively affecting the safety as well as the scholarship chances for cis women. More negative press. Yeah. So I played a lot of sports growing up. I played basketball, soccer, played baseball. It was only like I played like well, a little above t-ball. Uh, and I did CrossFit, and I'm thinking of let's use like CrossFit for example. If I were to compete back in the day as a female, and I had this other female I was competing against, they were kicking my ass, and then I found out they were trans. I would probably be upset because, like, yeah, um, it just depends, I think, a lot on the age of transition, the length of time they have been on hormones. There just needs to be a better system in place. Like, do I think that all trans women need to sacrifice or give up any like sort of chance of competing ever again? No, because I think it's individual. Um, it's a hard thing to regulate. That's the problem. But I also don't think that we should be so PC that we allow people to get their heads bashed in. That does nobody any favors. Yeah, it's like a sensitive thing. And even when I did transition, I was doing CrossFit at the time, and that was before like CrossFit allowed you to compete in the open uh, as your like gender, not like the gender you were born as. But I basically when I started transition, I was just like, I'll I'll never compete again. But it was worth it to me. Uh, like being, my identity was me, was Cody. It was not a CrossFitter. So it was kind of like I'm still gonna work out. I'm still gonna do whatever I'm gonna do. I'm a competitive person, so I understand like wanting to compete. This is why I'm still wanting to compete in bodybuilding, and I can't compete naturally, which sucks. So this is the sacrifice I'm making here. Like I can compete, but I have to compete against guys who like probably use steroids because I technically take a steroid. So yeah. Um, let's see. Cis women sometimes use tea for fertility. Many uses, yeah, but it's like a real low level, and it wasn't present during puberty. Like when males go through puberty, it's not just like a low dose testosterone. Um, it affects a lot more than if you're just taking it for, you know, Agree, but the problem becomes a lot of people, including myself, are torn on allowing kids to transition at young age. That seems to make a difference with trans women. But yeah, gosh, that's something that I'm incredibly torn about. So when it comes to transitioning younger, or before puberty, the reason I'm so torn about it is because I would have loved to have transitioned before hitting puberty. Like fucking loved it. It would have saved me a shit ton of fucking ugh, so much pain. So like there's a lot of people that are against puberty blockers or transitioning earlier in life, but I can't be 100% against it because I know if I was given that chance and I was allowed to delay puberty, like, and have a normal, like, adolescent life going through junior high and high school like as a guy, as Cody, it would have made like such a fucking difference. And I also find myself actually like getting a little bit jealous for, those who actually do get to experience that. Um, so as much as it pains me to see like real little kids being, um, you know, taught some questionable things, like at the ages of like in kind of like preschool-ish kind of age. Um, when it comes to being around like puberty area, I feel like there should be some sort of conversation that's allowed because oh man, it would have saved me a shit ton of pain. Like if you can could save you some surgeries. It can save trans women a lot of surgery and hard time passing. Testosterone's powerful. So trans women who have to go through puberty have to transition after puberty, it makes it so much harder. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know how to help with the chat option with your friend. um, yeah. So when it comes to transitioning at a young age, like how young is the question, but also um, I don't know that people understand how painful puberty can be, or how much more it can potentially cause you to have to go through by going through two of them. Um, so yeah, that's a tough one. Like, do any of you, well, anyone who had to basically, okay, so I transitioned around, I think I started at like 26, but I still dream about like having a normal high school life or like actually, um, asking a girl out. Like, my school was so conservative. We did not have dances. We did not have prom. Um, we had banquets where you go and you eat dinner, and that's like I never went to one of those. Uh, but I'm like to imagine what it would be like if I was able to be myself. I probably, you know, would have gone. Banquets. I know. So here's another argument, right? I've seen Candace multiple times talk about how she basically doesn't want to put her kids in public school because of the things that they're being taught are the LGBTQ agenda, confusing children about their gender, having them pick their gender. It's like, I did not see a secular textbook till I was in college. I went to a Christian school. I didn't learn shit about LGBTQ anything except for how wrong it was. And look at me now. Like, the only difference is that I had a shit ton of shame to carry with me up until I could finally transition. I'm still trying to like get rid of that. So it's like keeping your kid in a conservative bubble, it's not going to do anything. They're still going to find their way or find out who they are. You can't catch being trans. Well, I mean, it's a little bit trendy in some points at this point, but um, you know, the internet exists. Kids go on there all the time. Keeping them in like a homeschool or Catholic school or whatever is it's not going to prevent much. How did puberty affect your transition as an adult? You mentioned you had been able to transition prior to puberty. Puberty, you would have had less surgeries. What do you mean? Top surgery. So if you can, you know, get on testosterone, block that aspect of things. Oh, holy shit! That would have saved me so much pain. My chest was like my most dysphoric thing up until finally I could have top surgery. Um, but yeah, obviously I wouldn't have had to deal with that if I would have been able to transition before puberty, before female puberty hit me. Um, Also, the earlier you transition in life, the the deeper your voice gets, the less you know nasally it is. I'm self-conscious about my voice. But yeah, if you transition younger, you don't sound this way. Someone asked me this the other day. How would you feel if one of your children was trans? I'd probably feel sad. I would feel sad for them. How did top surgery turn out for me? It turned out good, but I still have scars. Um, so you can save yourself some pain and some scars and some money because it cost me $10,000 to have top surgery. Um, so yeah. Oh, thanks, Christina. I don't have a tranny voice. I've been told many a times that my voice sounds very trans. Why does age of transition affect your voice for trans guys? I think it probably has to do with uh, the age of your voice box. I don't know. I need to look into it a bit more. I don't have enough information to explain it in detail, but it does have an effect. Yeah, I mean the voice thing is individual as well. Um, it's also genetic, but also like age does play. Like there's some. Yeah, I don't want to like be. Yeah, like it does play an effect to a certain extent. Genetics are going to play a bigger role. Um, for example, my voice probably be deeper because like my mom's side of the family, like super duper deep voices. Like my grandpa had the deepest voice that I have ever encountered. My brother has a pretty deep voice. Um, so mine's like, eh. But I feel like if I would have transitioned earlier in life, maybe it would have been deeper. Yes. However, a lot of guys sound the same as you do. Yeah, like Ben Shapiro. um, how long does it usually take to start growing a full beard? I feel like I have what I call baby sprouts. Um, forever. And like it doesn't connect. You got hands just for you. It's funny, like I uh I used to get told I had man hands. And I used to like make fun of myself. Um, but like it worked out. It's funny, is like I have my dad's hands, but his hands are like ridiculous. I would show you at some point. It's ridiculous. So I'm like, well, I got like the mini version of my dad's hands, so that's fine. You've always been told you had nice lady hands and was offended despite considering myself to be female. You know what? This is kind of something that. So my knee surgeon, he is very like, like a very petite man. Um, And I never feel more masculine when I shake than when I shake his hand because he's got very small, like, delicate hands, and it's great for surgery, I'm sure, but I'm just like, "I feel like I can crush your hands." Cool. One time a customer told you tell your oh, that's bullshit. Don't crush the hand that cuts you. Yeah, for sure. I think I was, like, taken back by it because, like, he doesn't have the strongest handshake. His hands are really, really soft, and they're very small, and I was just like, "This feels weird." You always feel better about hands when you watch Friends. Ross has small hands. Well, my niece version has small hands as well, so I don't know. That makes you feel better. Calvin, take your good hand. What's your other hand doing? Do we wanna know? Is 50 milligrams of tea per week a low dose? It depends on the person. Uh, Doses are individual. Mine is 100 milligrams a week, but I definitely know of some people that have a lower dose. I know people that have a higher dose. Something wrong with your knee. No, just feeling disoriented on my hands. Things I actually do wish we knew of. Does starting tea at a younger age impact growth as far as height? That's a good question. I get like a feeling that it would because it is like activating those genetics, but that's a good question. I could have been 5'9". Ugh. I could have been 6'5", apparently. My brother is 6'5". Yep. He stole all of the height. Yeah, 50 milligrams every 2 weeks. I feel like that's a pretty low dose. Yeah, it's definitely a pretty low dose. Who needs to feel better? I'm 5'2". I'm 5'3". 6'5" is massive. Imagine how the world looks. Yeah, for sure. I don't think he actually likes being that tall. Um, I don't know if he's gonna watch this. Correct me if I'm wrong, brother. Um, but generally, when you're over a certain height, people always assume you play basketball. They always stare at you. They ask you how tall you are. These are just things that I've witnessed from being around my brother. Um, yeah. You have young guys who are on blockers and starting T puts them in the cis range. It's tough. It's great for them, but it's the what if we had that when we were younger deal. Totally. Oh man, Mark, I don't know how you do it without feeling jealous, to be real. One guy's 5'11". Wow. Lucky him. Amanda, what is up? Thanks for joining in. Oh man, I'm probably gonna end this video pretty soon here. I've been talking for an hour and 20 minutes um, about a lot of things that are probably just gonna get me in trouble. So I should probably leave. But transitioning helps with my jealousy. Yes, this is true. Um, one way to battle jealousy is just to know that um, like at least I've been able to transition and I'm where I'm at now. Gotta mourn the boyhood. Gotta put that in the past, but at least I get to be me now. Even if Candace doesn't want me to be me. um Cody, don't backpedal and delete the stream. All right, all right. Um yeah. Oh wait, one more topic. So when it comes to the whole Candace thing and the idea around the trans community, um, my biggest thing is if there is something that is going to affect medical care, whether it's an opinion like Candace's that kind of affects medical care, getting surgeries covered, um, that's when I get worried and I get riled up. And seeing Candace write a whole thing in her book, speak about it very regularly on very large platforms with, um, you know, some people like Mike Pence, for example, who is not so LGBT friendly. Um, it concerns me a little bit. So I'm all about that health care because there's no way I could have had bottom surgery without the help of insurance. Um, I did top surgery on my own, but bottom surgery, holy shit, it's a lot of money. Um, what did she write in her book? I never read it or heard of it. I don't know. It's not out yet. So I want to know what she's written in that book. Um, but we don't know yet. Nobody knows besides her. Should I just like campaign to be on Candace's show? Like, if Aiden can get on Ellen, can I get on Candace's show? It's like it's like the second best, right? Oh my god. Be like, so what? You were on Ellen's show, and I got to be on Candace Owens' show. Ooh, talk about complete opposite. I should go on Rachel Ray. Should get me on Ellen. Nah, Ellen was so like last year. Just kidding. Um, who doesn't want to be on Ellen, right? Cody for Ellen 2020. Got an American Ninja Warrior. I feel like it would be easier to be on American Ninja Warrior than on the Candace Owens show. I feel like it'd be a lot more exhausting to be on Candace Owens show. Um, but I also get the feeling she would never actually talk to me. Calvin, we should have our own talk show. We should. I believe, that's what YouTube is for. We can definitely make that happen. The hashtag could trend. Oh, it will never trend. I think that, like, no. I would actually have to have, like, a good reason to be on Ellen, and I don't. I have not done anything worthy of Ellen status. If you want to educate both sides, you gotta get scenes in place be sold. Honestly, like, if I had the opportunity to go on Candace's show, I would take it in a heartbeat. The problem is I don't think she would ever have a trans person on her show, or at least not me. Mm. Whoever thinks I could actually be on Candace's show and I should start campaigning, raise their hand. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Candace has talked to Blair before, and that did not do anything. I want to see Candace talk to at least one other trans person on her show. Also, like, whenever Candace or Ben Shapiro or whatever have something to say about the trans community, they always refer to trans women. Do they even know that trans men exist? I'm not really sure. Um, so that's another reason. Like, we exist. So it probably makes fucking zero differences. She gives zero fucks. But um, yeah. Bye, Natasha. Thanks for checking in. Um, I want to see her talk to a trans man and tell us how well she can tell we're trans. Right? I think. I just think it would be like, I would talk to her. I don't know, like, if she would even be as slightly open-minded as she likes to say she is. I feel like she should talk to somebody who's trans. I don't know, like, the only thing that I feel like wouldn't be a good idea is that am not I'm not on her level of smart. Like, I can talk about my experience. That's basically all I got, but we cannot talk about um, politics. Oh, thanks, Amanda. Reasonable people almost never get a chance. That's true. Which is why I think it's just for the audience. They'd rather show the radical trans person to mock and laugh at. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Like, it would be more dangerous for them to have, like, a laid back, like, trans person who just wants to blend in on their show than if they had, like, a more radical um, trans person. Yeah. Intimidating as hell she is. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, like, I would never, ever, ever politically, I would not talk about politics at all with Candace. That's not my area of expertise. Never has been, never will be. I can talk about my experience, and that is it. Oh yeah, I saw that about that. Identify as a 6-year-old. That's where the identify word becomes a huge fucking issue because it's not identity. Like you just are. We should go on the other Candace would never survive that show. I don't know. She's spicy. But anyways, I'm gonna go now officially. But thank you everyone for joining in. I super appreciate it, and thanks for not hating me. I will probably be hated very shortly after this is over. um, but yeah, next Saturday we will be meeting again. If you have any topics you'd like to discuss, let me know and embrace it. Yeah, let me just embrace the hate. Um, yeah, thanks. Um, but yeah, anyways, I will see you live again next Saturday at 7 p.m. I'll probably make a video or two throughout the week on what I don't know yet, but we will find out. If you have any topic suggestions, let me know. But yeah, bye guys. I will see you next time. Peace out.